All right, well, thank you all for joining us today and welcome to the first of a series of events we're having this week. This is all part of a bigger week called STEM Week, and today we have Fernando Estrada with us today. Fernando works in construction. He actually had started at San Diego State and then made a few pivots along the way that he'll go into and talk about a little bit more. But yeah, just thank you for joining us today. And is there anything you want to add, Fernando, before we get started?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk to you guys, give you guys some insight on how to get ready to get into the workforce. So
thank you. So yeah, let's just start with a little bit. What is your current position? And if you could give either a day in the life of what you do and walk us through what that looks like.
So I'm a project engineer at a general contractor. It's a commercial construction company. So there's like residential where you just build houses. There's civil where you're building like highways and bridges and overpasses. And then there's commercial, which is like pretty much like everything else, like buildings, labs, educational facilities, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm a project engineer at Rudolph and Sutton is what we're called. And I just started beginning of March, but I've had 4 internships previously with this company. So day in the life, there's like 2 answers for that. Because when you're actually out on the project that you're assigned to, you know, you're in the project trailer, reviewing drawings, making sure, coordinating work with different trades. So you're really like in and out of the project trailer and the construction site. It's like half and half, where you're at your office, sitting down, reviewing drawings, or you're out in the field, helping out a laborer with an issue. But right now, I'm in a pre-construction phase. So we're not in construction yet. We're getting ready to begin construction. So right now I'm working out of the main office, just basically reviewing drawings, making sure that there's no clashes. All the drawings are ready to be built for construction. Basically working out all the kinks, if you want to put it that way, before construction starts. So yeah, right now I'm on the schedule side. So I basically update the schedule for the project that I'm on. It's the Scripps Encinitas Hospital off the 5. And it's a 10-year long project. So our schedule is like 100 pages long right now. But right now that's my main responsibility, just updating the schedule and getting updates from different responsible parties for that.
Very cool. And are you able to share a little bit more about that specific project? I'm sure there's some details you aren't able to share, but if there's anything like how that came about and what's you've enjoyed about this project in specific, what makes it possibly unique?
Well, yeah, I mean, I started early March, so I'm still, you know, getting accustomed to this project. I have a presentation I can share with you guys of what the project I was on last year, instead of just hearing me talk this whole time. Every year at the end of the summer, for all the interns, they require us to make a presentation and present, basically telling them what we worked on, our project, things we learned, stuff like that. So I mean, I can go ahead and share that. It's not for the project that I'm on now, but it was for the project I was on last year.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. It's always even more insightful just to have a clear picture of something specific and tangible.
Let's see. Can you guys see my screen? You guys can see my screen? Okay, cool. So this is it right here. I won't go through in detail some of the stuff. because it's more specific to like the higher ups of the company, so that they know exactly like what it is that I'm doing and stuff like that. But yeah, last summer 2021, I was at USD. The project was called Camino Founders, and it was 2 large buildings that were both, the second floor was dorms for students, and then there was like theaters and classrooms. So it was like kind of a mix of everything, but that was at the USD campus. Let's see. So yeah, I had basically just went through my intro since this was my last internship with them. I listed my past projects that I had been on, stuff like that. Just a quick intro of who I was. Graduated from Chico. Quick fun facts and stuff like that. So this was the project site that I was actually on. I don't know if you guys are familiar with University of San Diego, but this squared box was all of the project right here. So here's one building, here's the other building. They're both very similar. All the second floor was dorms, and then the first floor had theaters and classrooms and stuff like that. We also had work in the chapel that we did, and dance studios up top on the north side of the project site. Yeah, just like a little zoomed in. So I don't know if you guys haven't seen before, these are what project plans look like. Pretty much basically the lay of the land, layout of how I believe this is the first floor. So we've got classrooms, offices, reading room, basically like a study hall area. See, our second floor here is all the dorms and stuff. This is a mix between like quad, triple, and single dorms. Single dorms are obviously for like RAs and stuff like that, but yeah, this is pretty much the layout of the first and second floors. Here's some actual pictures of the project. So this is the main courtyard between the 2 buildings. Where's it not going? Here's the theater after it was completed. So basically had to tear out all the seats, new flooring, new seats, new ceiling, basically just gutted the entire thing from the inside and basically redid it. This is one of the residential like kitchen areas where you can go cook food and stuff, warm your food up, because the dorms themselves is just like the closet in the beds. So they have like a residential kind of area where they can go cook their food and eat their food and stuff. Won't go over the project team. I mean, this was my project team that worked with me. There's about 10, 12 of us total. So we're basically, but yeah, let me go back. Our project team, we're basically like the middleman. So we're not the people who design or make the drawings ourselves. We're given the drawings. We basically review the drawings, make sure that they're good to go when it's time for construction. And then we then get the people to go do the work. So all the electricians, all the plumbers, all the site work guys, basically anything you could think of construction wise, we bid out the project to them so that they can come do the work. So we basically manage and coordinate all of that stuff. So anytime like an electrician has an issue that requires a solution from like an engineer or something like that, we're the ones that are like the middleman, getting that information, giving it to the engineer, waiting for him to see what he has to say, what the solution is going to be, and then he comes back, gives us an answer, and then we coordinate the work that way. All right. So some responsibilities that I had was punch list. So that's like quality control, basically making sure there's no cracks in the tile, cracks in the walls. When they're in at the end of the project, when they're moving in furniture, there's like a lot of times where they'll like bump into a wall, make a hole in the wall from like moving furniture and stuff like that. It's basically spot checking, making sure it looks like perfect, you know. If it needs another, if a wall needs another paint of coat, or a coat of paint, stuff like that, just basically making sure it looks like brand new. Following up with subs, coordinating walks with foremen. So to make sure that everything's looking brand new, pretty much, basically have to walk with different foremen for different subcontractors. So I had a lot of the finished trades. So I had like the painter, the drywaller, the fire sprinkler guy come out and walk with me. And anytime there was a ding in the wall or the wall needed paint, basically just walk the areas with the foreman so that they know the areas that they need to hit. And that's basically how you coordinate the work, and then come back a couple days later, walk the same areas and confirm that they got fixed. Closeout documentation. I'll skip over that. It's just basically getting paperwork at the end of the project. Owner trainings. Anytime there's like a specific like equipment piece, like an electrical panel, a big electrical panel that feeds the entire building, there has to be a training for the staff on that. So all the USD people who are going to be in, all the maintenance people for on the USD side need to be trained adequately on that. So that's basically what that is. RFIs are basically whenever there's a discrepancy in the drawings and it didn't get caught in pre-construction, and now you're out on the project site doing the actual construction, and an issue arises, that's basically like the paper trail, paper documentation of writing down what the issue is, writing a proposed solution, handing it to the architect for approval, just so you have everything documented. Even if it's a simple fix, it could be a quick, simple fix, or it can be a very complicated issue. I mean, it all goes under writing its RFI, so a request for information from the architect. The updating drawings. So updating drawings, basically, anytime there's a change to the drawing, you have to overlay it with the old drawing, make sure that everyone who's referring to the drawings has the most up-to-date version of it. So anytime there's a change to it, you have to update the drawings, obviously, whether that be from a response from an architect or something like that. You always want to make sure that everyone's working off of the most up-to-date drawings. Let's see, cleaning up the job site. Yeah, that was, we were going in on Saturdays and sweeping up the main courtyards and stuff, making it look nice and pretty, because the project ended during the time that I was there over summer. And then just miscellaneous tasks assigned from my team. So I was assigned like a project engineer as like a mentor, and he basically gave me all the work, assigned me all the work for the day and for the week and stuff like that. So whatever he, other than the stuff he listed here, whatever else he needed, whatever else help he needed, I would help him with. So this is quick. This is basically the punch list process of the quality control I was talking about. So we do, you know, internal pre-walk with our team, and then we walk with the foreman as our official punch. Our punch list to the subs is basically the list that we generated from walking the areas, and then back checking and closing out is basically double checking everything again, making sure that all the quality issues got addressed after they were called out in the official punch walk. So this is just basically me going over the process. Let's see. So the company, our Rudolph and Sletton company, has these core values of client focus, passion for building, safety, technology driven, integrity, quality, and service. And so I wanted to show how I implemented those core values during my time there. So for quality, punch list process, address quality throughout the job site. I mean, I was basically going out every day and making sure everything looked, you know, like it was brand new, you know, nothing you know, that basically making sure everything was looking brand new, quality was high, and same goes for integrity, quality, and integrity, making sure that you're doing the job the right way. Passion for building. I mean, personally, I like construction. I don't know about all you guys. You guys might want to do other forms of STEM, electrical, civil, mechanical engineering, which is all cool and stuff. But I like seeing, walking out on the site and seeing the changes like daily. If you go out, if you like miss a week of work and then you come back the next week and you walk around the job site, like it's gonna look different. Like you can see changes happening every day. So that's cool. I like it. It's like the stuff you're actually working on is like happening right in front of you, so you can visually see it. So that's where my passion for building comes. Technology driven. I mean, we have software for quality control, all of the drawing, updating. So we're very up to date with all the technology used in the construction industry. There's probably, if you are to do or to go in construction, you're probably going to learn like 3-4 different softwares even before you graduate. That's just the standard, the typical in all of construction industry. It's gonna, so like your scheduling software, your Bluebeam is like the reviewing of the drawings and stuff like that. But yeah, you basically learn a lot of software even before you even graduate. Safety, we have our big thing at RNS is safety. We want to make sure that we get the job done on time, no injuries, everyone goes home safe. So, I mean, the time that I was there, it was during COVID, so people were still wearing their masks. There was no injuries on the project at all during the entire time, so that was a good thing. But I mean, we maintained safety throughout that entire project. So that's basically how I implemented the core values from RNS into what I do every day. And then since I was an intern at the time, I had a quick thing for why I was, why I'm right for the job, what I've learned, stuff like that, understanding project plans, referring to, the specifications, communicating with subcontractors, and of course, software, construction software. So like Bluebeam, Prolog, PlanGrid, if you're going to go into the construction industry, like you're going to know those softwares like the back of your hand. But a lot of this stuff, I mean, don't be discouraged if you've never heard of any of this stuff, because 95% of the stuff you learn is on the job learning. But yeah, I mean, here's some more tasks that I did. This is more internal stuff. But yeah, that was pretty much overview of what I did during my internship. My responsibilities have changed now, but that was what I was doing back last summer.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing that, and it really helps. Like, I don't know, I always like the pictures.
Yeah, I didn't want to just be talking the whole time.
Yeah, if you could, I think someone, we were wondering specifically about your path from community college to SDSU, and if they're, and in there, maybe if you could share if there were like defining experiences or a mentor or anything that helped you make a decision along the way.
Yeah, so I first started interning like my freshman year of college, and I don't know about any other places, but I mean, I'm sure they assign you like a mentor. So I was assigned a mentor who was a project engineer and basically assigned me all my work. We became really close, working with him every day over summer, you're obviously going to get close to the guy. But he basically mentored me. He saw that I was really wanting to learn about construction, because before I even started interning there, I had never worked construction. No one in my family works in construction. So like, I didn't even know I had no clue about anything. So he basically saw that I was willing to learn, wanted to get into the industry, and he basically guided me and told me, hey, I went to Chico State as a construction management major. They have a really good program. You should look into it. I know I was doing civil engineering at the time at San Diego State, but he told me if I wanted to continue working in this industry, like construction management is more geared towards what I'm going to be doing every day rather than pursuing a civil engineering degree. So I looked into it and ended up transferring out of San Diego State, went to Southwestern for a year and did a bunch of prerequisites for my construction management major. And then I applied for transfer to Chico and graduated from there this last December. So yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the mentor I was assigned, during my first internship, I would have never, gotten that insight. I probably would have, still been at San Diego State. So I mean, that was huge, just like shift for me.
Very cool. And that was an internship you had after your first year?
During my freshman year of college, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did can you describe a little bit more about that internship specifically, and
Yeah.
like how you got, because normally a lot of times internships aren't posted until like they want to have experience in your senior year. So what did that look like, and
So I
how
was
did you
part
even
of
get to
like what was it? Society of Civil Engineers, American ASCE, is that what it is? Yeah, American Society of Civil Engineers at San Diego State. And I would go to the meetings and stuff. They would have free food. So, I always would go for the free pizza and stuff. But it was basically like info sessions telling about, like, they would have a topic and stuff, but they brought up a job fair one day. And they said, even if you're a freshman, get your resume. We have a resume workshop before the job fair. You guys can go to that, have your resume looked at by industry professionals. And even if you don't have the experience, like, it's good experience just to go out there and see how it is, so that's what I did. I went to the resume workshop with the little resume that I had. I was just out of high school, and went to the workshop. And then I think the day after, 2 days after the workshop, was the job fair. And I literally just went around giving everyone my resume. Like, I would engage in conversation, but like, if I saw something that looked interesting, I was like, hey, I'm interested. Like, I don't have that much experience, but here's my resume. I was just giving them my resume. And like 2 weeks later, I got an email from 2 different companies, and one of them is the company that I work for now. And so I obviously went with this company to intern for, started interning. But my first internship, like, I knew absolutely nothing, like, about construction at all. So they were very good about, helping me and not making me feel like I don't know anything. They're very helpful in that matter. But I mean, as long as you show that you're, like, interested and, like, wanting to learn just wanting to learn, they'll take you as far as you want to go.
Very cool. Thanks for walking us through that process. And that's awesome that you had that experience so early on.
Yeah, definitely helped. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, they say, you should, people don't start really doing job fairs and stuff like that till, like, their junior, senior year, stuff like that. So I mean, it's good to get ahead of it if you can. I mean, yeah, I think maybe I just got lucky too. But as long as, I feel like, if you show that you're, like, really interested, do your homework on some of the companies that are going to be there. And if you start talking to someone about their company and you're like, hey, this guy knows about our company, seems pretty interested, like, that's just going to make them more interested in you. And then show that you're willing to learn. It's like, even if it's a lot, it's very overwhelming at first, especially for me, 'cause I didn't know anything. So I mean, every day I would just sit in meetings with, like, my eyes like, what is going on? But I mean, over time, I mean, it's just an experience thing. You just learn over time, and just, yeah, goes back to just showing that you're willing to learn and they'll take you as far as you want to go.
Very cool. And it probably also took some persistence, because I'm sure in a large job fair and you're like, you labeled it as small resume.
Yeah,
that there were a lot of people
yeah,
who,
I mean, yeah, I mean, I didn't go into it thinking I was gonna, get any internship. I just wanted to go just to see how it was. I mean, I just think, I think I was lucky to even get offers from any company really, because you're competing against juniors and seniors who have already had classes about the curriculum, might have already had a previous internship or something like that. So I mean, it's just good to get ahead of the curve, and jump on the ball early on.
Very cool. Can you describe a little bit some of the hurdles that you faced along the way and what helped you overcome those?
Yeah, so my grades weren't the best. I mean, being honest, they weren't the best. So when I was at Southwestern planning to transfer to Chico, I remember meeting with a counselor and basically went over the classes I was taking, what my plan was. I was planning on, it was a spring semester, and I was planning on transferring to Chico that fall. So I was like, I've already submitted my application. Like, I'm just going over this with you. I just wanted to see what his insight was. And he basically just like looked at all my stuff and was like, yeah, like there's no way that you get in to Chico, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay, well, like, thanks. Cool, thanks. And so I like left that meeting feeling like, oh my goodness, like what am I gonna do? Luckily, like a couple months later, I got my acceptance letter in the mail. So I mean, I guess I felt good to prove him wrong, I guess. But yeah, he basically told me, it's like, oh, that's not happening, like, oh wow, like that's not gonna happen. I was like, okay, well, thanks. But it felt good to, once I got that acceptance letter, it was kind of like prove him wrong, even though I'm never gonna see him again. But I guess that would be one of the hurdles too. Another one was just actually working in the industry, since like I said before, no one in my family works construction, so it's like all new information to me. So, and it's a lot of like, if you ever go into the construction, well, I mean, I'm sure it's everywhere. There's like a lot of like, little abbreviations and stuff that you just got to pick up on, just like terminology and stuff like that. Just to, you got to pick up on quick, and it's just like you're always learning something new. Even, I mean, I hear industry professionals say it all the time. Like, we'll be going over something and about the project, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that. It's like there's so much that goes into a building. It's crazy. So you're always learning something new. But that was one of the major hurdles for me. It was hearing someone say, this is your goal. Like, this is not really what's gonna happen. But I mean, I ended up getting accepted. So
yeah, that still must have been hard to sit with for a few months, because it had to be, you said it was like a few months in between that meeting and then when you got the acceptance letter.
Yeah. So I was just like doodling my fingers for a while, but yeah, it all worked out.
That's awesome. And this will be our last question for like the formal section. And then if students want to jump in and start asking questions, so, if you want to start thinking of things, but we'll just end with, do you have any last, any pieces of advice for current STEM majors?
Yeah, just get involved early on. I would say the biggest thing is internship. Like, just find something that, in the field that you want to do. I know it's easier said than done, but that's that's my biggest piece of advice, is try to get an internship early, because once you get one and you start up, maybe you get one and you don't like it, you don't like, the environment. Next summer comes around, you apply for another one, they already see that you have an internship under your belt already. They're going to be like, oh, well, he already has experience. It gives you a better chance of getting the internship, right? But yeah, just putting yourselves out there and making yourselves uncomfortable, and you're not going to have a lot of experience in the field that you're studying for, obviously. So it's all about like how persistent you are and like trying to, make opportunities for yourself. You really just gotta, just show that you're willing to learn. That's really it.
Very cool. Well, I want to, I'm going to stop recording so that people can feel free to ask questions. So I want to just officially thank you for sharing your story, sharing about a recent project, and we'll move on to the next section.